Hello there. So in this video I'm going to go over what got damaged on that last bash. This was 4 big slams into the concrete. It was accidental, bearing in mind. I was actually aiming for the grass, and every single time I hit the concrete. This motor though is very overkill for this mounting system. The 800 kV I think is a little bit too big for this system, especially if you're doing high jumps and landing it on concrete. I don't think any RC's got all mounting system. However, this is, I think, personally the best mounting system out there, but it still isn't going to take that sort of impact. But you can see here anyway where the slides are, where it's a little bit weakened, where they've had to machine it out for it to slide. It leaves only a thin bit of metal either side, so that's why that's bent, but I think I can straighten it out anyway easily enough. But what that caused is, obviously with the back of the motor dropping, is it caused the brace to bend in at the top as well, because obviously that whole motor system's dropped back and then bent this back as well. So it's just going to be a case of straightening it out. Well, I'm going to try and cure this because I still want to run this motor. But what I've got is the original motor mount. And obviously these two holes line up with these two holes. And it's also cupped. So it will cup under the motor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Dremel this piece off. And then I'm going to slide this piece underneath the motor mount. Maybe put a couple of nuts on there to pack it out, to support underneath the can there. Also, this spur gear here, it's ginormous, and it's got the tiniest little bearing supporting it. You can see there, it's absolutely shattered the bearing. And there you go, even the race, it's like got half a race there. You can see all the seals have popped out. The inner race there, the ball bearing carrier, it's just shattered it to pieces on impact, that coming down. So this, I was just going to show you that, just that gear alone weighs, like, you know, just shy of 300 grams. So I think what I might do is I'm going to drill into it. I know it's not the best thing to do, but I'm going to just try and lighten it a bit more, see if I can shed some weight off of it, so it's not putting so much strain on that bearing. Also, I don't think there's much life left in it anyway, because the teeth of shark teeth, as I'm calling it, is, you know, they've all sort of leaned across. It's a powerful motor for quite, you know, not like real hardened steel. I could do with a better quality grade steel. I might actually look into WFO gears, and they're going to be a lot lighter, because I can see they're light, and this is just a solid chunk of metal. It's seriously heavy, so that's not going to ever support that in a million years. But yeah, it could also do with a bit more support, maybe at the front there. I wonder if there's some way of making a bearing so you get a triple row bearing, so you get a bearing here, bearing there, and a bearing at the back as well. I think that would be epic. There's another problem as well, where we've got plastic mounting for the screws. I might actually put, well, instead of using like a metric thread, I might actually put some proper like wood screws into the plastic, and it might bite in better and stop these from pulling out, because I know when I try and tighten some of these bolts, they just spin around. So I could probably do with a new bulkhead, but I'm going to try and save the bulkhead as well. So yeah, we'll see how we go. I just I put a new bearing in and greased it up, and I've just drilled some holes in the spur gear just to lighten it a bit. Yeah, it's taken a bit of weight off it, so hopefully that should put less strain on these dear little bearings, because it's not a very big bearing, is it? This is a bit of an overkill gear for a dear little bearing, same as the motor, but I've straightened all the mount out now as well. I've also cut the end off of here and just filed it rounded, and then what I'll do is when that goes under there, I'll adjust the gears and clamp it to where it's got to be on the adjustment. I'll then just put the spacer under there, and then pack it out with a couple of nuts, and then just bolt it all the way through, and then strap all the way around the motor and round this, and then that will stop the up movement as well as the down movement. So hopefully that should strengthen it a bit more. But yeah, I'll get back to you in a minute and see how it all looks when it's done. There's the tower powering again, looking good. Well, I've bolted all the way through the bottom, through the mount, through into the existing motor mount that was originally on the Xmaxx, and I've actually got adjuster bolts here. That, because we're going into plastic there, I've locked these two nuts together, so I couldn't really go it too tight with the nut against the plastic, so I just locked that together and then locked the bolt down, or the nut, sorry, down onto the chassis brace there, and done the same on the other side. You can see where I just filed it nice and rounded to match the shape of the motor there, so it cups it quite nicely. And then what I've done is I've just put some security wire around it. Yeah, so I've twisted the wire together here. I've glued the wire, and then I've just crimped the end there so we don't get snagged on the frayed ends, and then just snip the end off there. There's the lightened and not so balanced spur gear in our operation there. So yeah, it runs nice and smooth now. As I say, I'm going to need a new pinion and spur. Not the nicest screws I found, but they are in tight, so that shouldn't go anywhere. That's it. Pop it all back together and get out bashing again.